All right, folks, we're going to get started here in just a minute. And we're going to start with some door prizes. If you do not have a white door prize ticket, raise your hand, and a field rep will bring you one. Raise it high. Field reps, would you look around for people with their hands raised, please? If you guys could start making your way to your seats, we're about ready to kick this off. There was a hand over there. Where's Eddie Ruggie? Eddie Ruggie. Hey, John Wilkerson, I see you in the back. Could you do me a favor? Could you go do I can't find Ruggie. Go do an announcement in the hallway that we're getting ready to kick off. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, folks. We are live from the heart of Houston, Texas. Welcome to the 2025 TMPA 75th Anniversary Conference. Tonight, we're broadcasting from the beautiful Hyatt Regency in downtown Houston, where Texas law enforcement has gathered to celebrate 75 years of strength, unity, and service. Since 1950, the Texas Municipal Police Association has proudly stood by those who serve. And now in 2025, we're stronger than ever, with more than 34,000 members across this great state. We'd like to give a huge thank you to our sponsors who's helped make tonight possible. Chief sponsors, NEP Services and the McLean Advisors. Captain sponsors, Relentless Defender, the Gorski Law Firm, Roll Call Off Duty, Financial Cop, East Coast Amusements, Lasser Crass, attorney Randall Moore, and Sands Corporation. And lastly, the sergeant sponsors, the Law Office of Paul Amon, the Riot Conference, the Law Office of Lance Wyatt, and Honor Wealth. In just a moment, TMPA President Kenneth Gardner of the Tyler Police Department will officially open our 75th conference, followed by our national anthem by TMPA Vice President Tyler Pride. And then a warm welcome from the Honorable Mayor John Whitmore of Houston. And don't forget, our COPCart Raffle is live. $50 gets you a ticket, and every dollar helps honor the heroes we've lost in Texas. Plus, the silent auction is now open, and bidding is already underway. Check the link in the description, and let's raise big for a great cause. Thank you so much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it, and let's celebrate tonight.
Not hard picking out the voice of Bryan Adams, backing up his fellow Canadians. Glass Tiger, 1986, here on the 80s on 8. My name is Alan Hunter. Let's go back to the biggest song for this artist, though it did not make it to the top of the charts. I mean, there were so many artists as iconic as Springsteen who didn't really have a #1 hit. I can think of many. Bob Dylan. Am I wrong about that?
We ready, gents?
But of course, he was iconic for so many other reasons. Now, he did have a #1 hit, technically, but he didn't perform it. He performed it, but it didn't go anywhere until Manfred Mann covered 3 of his songs.
You ready, boss? All right, guys, we're going to get started. Before we start the program, we're going to do a few door prizes to get things started. I wanted to start with a really serious police war story really quick. We have a room full of cops. Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd break into a distillery, and Bugs Bunny looks at him and says, "Is this whiskey?" And Elmer Fudd says, "Yes, it is, but not as whiskey as robbing a bank." All right. First one's $50 gift card for Relentless Defender. Put my old man readers on. 5362986. 536-2986. All right. A Gerber multi-tool. Gerber multi-tool.
Our apologies to these people that they didn't get a chance to win the first time.
All right, for a Gerber multi-tool, we have 536-3138. 3138. And we have a winner. Last one we'll do is a $359 value gift certificate to Vitamedics Hydration, High-VA Hydration. I did one about 2 hours ago. It's not affecting me at all. I feel fine. It's totally good. I would recommend you go get one, though. It's really good. I feel a lot better. 536-3014, 3014. Anyone? Maybe we have a winner. They just don't want to get a needle stuck in them. Anybody? 536-3014, 3014. All right, we'll move along.
Moving on.
536-3102, 3102. 3102 gone. We got a winner?
3102.
You must be awake to win.
This may help you. You could probably use this. All right, guys, I'm going to turn this over to President Gardner. Begin our program.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, okay, that's it. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that up there. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Kenneth Gardner. I'm the president of TMPA for another day. So, thank goodness it's coming to an end quick. I want to start out. We want to call to order the 75th TMPA conference to order now. If everybody would please stand for the presentation of the colors by Pearland Police Department, Honor Guard, and the national anthem by Tyler Pride.
Who say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the thoughts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
If you'll remain standing, we're going to do the pledge to the American flag, followed with the Pledge of Allegiance to the state flag, and then the invocation by Brian Flatt. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
If you would bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you so much for bringing us all here together this weekend. Thank you for bringing us safely. We ask for your continued guidance, direction, and blessings in all that we do. Lord, we pray for those that were not able to be here with us, that are still working to protect us. Lord, keep them safe, keep them free from harm. Be with their families, be with our families. Lord God, just bless us in every way. Help us to reach the level of servanthood that you want us to be for your kingdom. Lord, be with us tonight. Guard our hearts, guard our minds. Forgive us of our sins when we fail you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, you can be seated. We're glad to welcome the mayor of Houston, John Whitmore. Prior to being elected mayor in 2023, he served in the Texas House of Representatives from 1973, when I was born, to 1983, and served in the Texas Senate from 1983 to 1923. Y'all can do the math on that. That's a long time. He served the state of Texas for 50 years and was the dean of the Senate when elected mayor. Mayor Whitmore has been a friend of law enforcement and was chairman of the Senate Criminal Justice Committee for 30 years. Please welcome the Honorable Mayor Whitmore.
So, thank you. Thank you. Y'all wait to see what I say before you want to stand up. Maybe we can get that response. Listen, thank you. for inviting me. I feel so comfortable here with your organization. As was mentioned, chairing criminal justice for 30 years in the Senate. We did a lot of good together. We were tough on crime, certainly smart on crime, but we always made law enforcement our highest priority. And tonight, as the mayor, I could be at 100 locations, but this is where I wanted to be. It's also where I need to be. If I was thinking today, I'd have put out a press release saying that today Houston is the safest large city in America because y'all were having your conference here today. I wouldn't have told them you're going to leave in a couple of days. But on a very serious note, thank you for what you do. And not only did I want to welcome you to Houston, it's a great city, great people, with challenges like all major cities have, but we're meeting our challenges. So I wanted to welcome you here, but I really was looking forward to coming to thank you for your support for those many years that I was a state legislator. And I also wanted to visit with you and give you just a little bit of advice and let you know what I have found in my career that works, and it's working for the Houstonians as we meet tonight, and certainly all of our local law enforcement. It's relationships. And I really won't take long, but I want to emphasize in the political system, in the legislature, and even back here in the city of Houston, it's all about relationships, loyalty, staking out your position. Let me just cite for you what matters and is proven so well. 2 years ago, I'd have been a senator getting ready for the special session, but I was asked for Houstonians to please come back and work on our local problems. It was a tough decision. I enjoyed being the most senior senator. We were getting things done, but also I knew as a Houstonian we had some serious challenges here. One, public safety. I also knew from being close to Houston HPD and local constable, sheriff's office, that the morale was so low. And this is what I want you to soak in tonight. Relationships matter when it comes to benefits. I knew that the contract for HPOU was up. I also knew that we were losing officers because they'd been neglected for years. So the contract was approved this spring, and it was an easy process. It was a matter to work out some scheduling issues, but we gave HPOU officers, 5,000 of them, the largest contract ever in the history of Houston, Texas. Now let me just tell you the ripple effect. First of all, we raised starting pay to $75,000, 36% pay increase over the next 5 years, the life of the contract. It's not only improved our recruiting at all-time high, and in fact, if you want to know the truth why I'm here tonight, I brought Chief Diaz. We are recruiting tonight. And I'll tell you how I ended up with, I believe, the best police chief in America. But HPD was not getting the recruits it needed. We were retiring more than we were attracting. That's been corrected. Not only lateral hires, ladies and gentlemen, we are hiring from other departments. And we had HPD officers applying for the DPS. They're pulling back their applications. But here's the miracle that I didn't even think about. We did so well by our officers that the Deputy Sheriff's Association is now waking up over at the county and our local constables. And the county had to get busy to assure them that they were going to be taken care of. So the message is we're all in this together. And we ought to go across the state and talk about every department needs to recognize the value. And not just and here's a message, and I know y'all are politically involved, don't just support those that talk to you at election time. Talk to those that deliver, those that will talk to you in between elections. So anyway, it's exciting to be mayor, exciting to be here. I haven't gone far. Austin is a mess. I've got my hands full here, but people ask me all the time, are you having fun? Hell no, I'm not having fun. I didn't run for office to have fun, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ability to pick up the phone, talk to Austin leadership, get Houston some resources that we've been neglected for years. The previous mayor didn't want the DPS here. We all know that most of our staffs are understaffed, and so during the campaign, I was asked, what are you going to do while you're increasing recruitment? I said, we're going to collaborate. We're going to work with the constables. We're going to work with the sheriff's office, but we want DPS in Houston for traffic enforcement. And it was controversial. Some of the community said, well, we don't know if we want the DPS in Houston. I said, if you want to be safe, we've got to use every resource possible. We had 75 DPS troopers in Houston last weekend. We're doing surges. We're doing traffic enforcement, going in after our bars, closing them, getting them for human trafficking, drugs, contraband, you name it. So anyway, I didn't come here tonight to give you a huge policy discussion, but one, we are recruiting. Number two, relationships matter. And Houston is the safest big city in America tonight because you're here. Y'all be safe when you go home and go back to work, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for being here. Every year, TMPA dedicates the conference, and I think this year, being our 75th, it's probably long overdue for this. But if all of our TMPA employees, not board members, but the actual employees would stand up. Y'all can see them around the wall, the ones here. They are the ones that keep this thing moving. All the time, 24 hours a day, they're getting called. I'm going to read the resolution for this year's 75th conference. Whereas the Texas Municipal Police Association was organized and chartered by the state of Texas on June the 26th, 1950. And whereas the officers, directors, and delegates in attendance at this, our association's 75th annual conference, recognize the success and strength of TMPA are deeply rooted in the dedication, professionalism, and tireless efforts of its exceptional staff. And whereas the staff of TMPA consistently demonstrates unwavering commitment in supporting the association's members, advancing legislative initiatives, organizing training, and ensuring the effective operation of TMPA's programs and services. And whereas their behind-the-scenes work is critical to the planning, coordination, and execution of this annual conference and all TMPA initiatives throughout the years. And whereas their loyalty, compassion, and high standards of excellence uplift the mission of law enforcement and inspires the communities we serve. Therefore, be it resolved that the delegates and leadership of the Texas Municipal Police Association gathers for the 75th annual conference, do hereby dedicate this conference to the outstanding men and women of the TMPA staff. Be it further resolved that this resolution serve as a symbol of our profound appreciation and gratitude for their continued service, sacrifice, and commitment to the law enforcement profession and to this organization. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, that's great. I love that. Let me say something about the board real quick. Before I sit down and let them take this over, I've been involved, I've been on the board for the last 11 years. Our board members, as you know, everything's volunteer. The board members that run and get elected, they volunteer their time, a lot of times away from their family. They also get calls in the middle of the night. Not employees, but we get notified when something happens in our area. A lot of times the board members will respond to any shooting or any incident that's going on at the time. And I've had a chance to work with a lot of good men and women on this board over the last 11 years. Of course, I'm going to miss them. A lot of the past presidents here that I worked with coming up. So the current board, if you're in here, which I hope you are, if y'all would stand up real quick, I just want to recognize y'all and thank y'all for the hard work this year. Thank y'all.
So I've got an order I'm supposed to go in, but y'all know me. That's not going to happen. One of the things I'm supposed to do is recognition of staff, which seems kind of redundant now after that conference dedication. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and to the board. Y'all know that your staff works very hard for you, and I'm not going to try to name all of them that are here or whatever, but we got 75 people working for you, and they're very dedicated and mission driven. I do want to make sure that any of you who are newer to this, I want to make sure that you know who your executive staff are. And I apologize, by the way, if y'all don't know it, we are being live streamed on all of our social media tonight. So if Ken or Tyler don't show up next week, it's because they've been recruited by some talent agency somewhere and saw them on tonight. Mitch Landry, where's Mitch at? There, Mitch Landry, our Deputy Executive Director, who is also in charge of all of our legislative efforts. I want to make sure y'all know who he is. Standing next to him is Dr. Jeff Olbrich. We stole Jeff from T-Close. What was T-Close back then? It's T-Cole now. What, about 24 years ago, Jeff? He's been an invaluable part of our team. You all know, I hope, John Sariga, our Director of Field Services, also an invaluable part of our team. Our General Counsel, Randy Dubrava, you'll hear some more about him tomorrow. I know I saw Randy a little, there he is in the yellow shirt, always stylish. Thank you, Randy. You'll hear some more about Randy tomorrow, but he's now been with us about 18 years, I think. By the way, also because of the live streaming, there's this bright spotlight, two of them, floodlights right here that I can't hardly see any of y'all. Also, there's two other members of our executive, and if I forget anybody, you please make sure you let me know. But there's two other members of our executive staff that y'all may not see very often, but they really are the engines that drive this train. And that is Katie Cox, our controller, who's in the back of the room. Please wave, Katie. I want to mention, by the way, Katie came to work for us as as a baby, yeah. She was still in college. She was working for us on a part-time basis and then became a staff accountant, and now she's our controller, and she really does a fantastic job. And next to her is Alicia Mupo. Alicia has been with us now for, what is it, about 10 years? We got her from I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Her 10-year anniversary. She was a staffer on Capitol Hill for about 8 years before she came to work. She worked for Chairman Smith out of San Antonio. So, but that's your executive team, and they really, really help keep all the pieces together. By the way, look around this room. Can you imagine what it takes to put this conference together? And those are the people that are responding. And by the way, there's a bunch of staff that didn't stand up when Ken asked them to. Two of them because they're back there working the control desk, I know Morgan was standing up, but she was operating a camera at the time. So and a bunch more are still working the registration table out there, and they couldn't even be in the room for all this. But, when you get a chance tomorrow, they'll all be wearing gray bluish gray shirts that say staff on it. Take the time to stop and shake their hands, okay, and thank them for all their work. I also want to mention the gavel. I know those of you that have been here before, we always talk about the gavel. Years ago it was the Palumbo gavel. The last few years it's been the Anderson gavel. Well, this year we got a whole new gavel. This gavel was given to us by Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives, Dustin Burrows, in honor of the 75th anniversary of TMPA. So we're pretty proud of that one. I also want to acknowledge a few special guests that we have here tonight, friends of ours, allies of ours. Sometimes we don't get along, we don't see eye to eye on everything, but we like to think we work together as best we possibly can. President of the National FOP, Patrick Yost, and his wife Jennifer are in the room. Patrick, thank you for being here. Also our national trustee for Texas FOP, Frank Plowick, is here. Thank you, Frank. From the Dallas Police Association, I see James Parnell and Phil Gordon are both here. James may be here in a dual role. He's a TMPA member. I don't know if Phil is, but I know James. Phil, you're also a member. Thank you guys for being here. Oddly enough, with the mayor being here, I haven't seen anybody from the HPOU. Have I missed somebody? Is there anybody from Houston Police Officers Union in the room? Okay, well, we tried. David Cuevas from the Harris County Deputies Organization texted me earlier that he wasn't going to make it today. He may be here tomorrow. Is he here? David just walked in just in time. David, thanks for being here. I know that I saw Jim Kershaw and Joe Henning were here a little while ago, and they're probably still in the room somewhere, but they're also with Harris County Deputies Organization. Also, y'all noticed we have a bunch of sponsors out in the foyer. We've got sponsors and vendors in a special room over here. Y'all know this thing, it's expensive to put this thing on, and having sponsors and vendors helps defray some of the cost. It helps keep your cost of coming to these things down. But they also, these folks are not people that are here just at conference time. They are partners of ours throughout the year. Again, I don't want to fail to mention any of them, but recently during the floods, I think there's a great example of, a couple of things that happened. Our guys hit the ground out there and they started saying, hey, by the way, one of the problems is communications. And I said, hey, has anybody reached out to FirstNet? And so when I finally got in touch with, and I'm not sure who it was, may have been John Wilkerson or Brian Flatt that was out there. And I said, has anybody called FirstNet? And they were like, FirstNet's here. They're on the ground with us already, Sheriff's deputies out there called and said, hey, we need some more shirts. We need some T-shirts that just say sheriff on them. And John got on the phone, and Aaron Slater from Relentless Defender said, we'll make the shirts and donate them. And TMPA field rep went and picked them up, and then we kind of Pony Expressed them to Kerrville, That's the kind of relationship. When we have a family in distress, we have a line of duty death, we reach out to the McLean Agency, a financial cop. We've got these partners year round. So please take time to stop by and visit. I do want to recognize the major sponsors. I apologize to anybody else, but major sponsors, we have the McLean Advisors are here. They've been here for 30-something years now. Been a great partner of ours. They're one of the two chief sponsors, which means they've donated $10,000 for this conference. And new NEP, the New Equity Productions. And I apologize, again, I can't see, but who from NEP is in the room? Is Amber in here? Okay, well, the captain sponsors donated $5,000 apiece. It'd be the Gorski Law Firm, attorneys John Snyder, Zach Horn, Robert Rogers. I know they're planning on being here. Again, I haven't seen them yet. Anybody? All right. Relentless Defender Apparel, Aaron Slater, I mentioned him. If y'all are here, raise your hand or scream or holler or something. Chris White, I know he's here. He brought me a drink a little while ago from the bar. Chris is with roll call off duty. Chris used to be a deputy sheriff in Cherokee County, and he reminds me all the time that we helped him do a pay referendum about 900 years ago and got him a 50% pay raise one year. But we really appreciate Chris and his team being here. By the way, 900% of nothing is still nothing. It didn't help them a lot. East Coast Amusements. Steve Stribley's leading a whole slew of people that are here from East Coast. Thanks for being here, guys. Financial Cop, Nick Doherty, Mike Parker are here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. And I'm going to mispronounce this. Lesser Crass? How do you pronounce that, Randall? That's the Randall Moore Law Firm. So, and I know Randall's here because I was telling him a while ago he needs a haircut. So, he's at the bar. That makes perfect sense. The Sergeant sponsors at $3,000 apiece are the law offices of Lance Wyatt. He's also a contributor for the Purse Bingo. The law offices of Paul Amon. I haven't seen either Lance or Paul yet. Honor Wealth Management, Daniel Ure and his favorite partner, Hans, are here. I know they're here, but they're probably out in the hallway. And the Riot, the Robbery Investigators of Texas are here. Thank you all very much for your sponsorships. Unless I have forgotten something. Is that it for me, sir? That's it for you. Okay, great. I will turn it over to John Sariga.
All righty, we need to talk about the elections, the board elections. So for that, I'm going to call up Tyler Tibbetts, our secretary.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Tyler Tibbetts. I'm the Secretary of TMPA. The process for nominations, voting and committees will be similar to last year or the last few years. The one change that we are going to try this year is we're going to go to a QR code. So there's going to be no paper form or having to track down a pen to fill out your delegate forms, your board nomination forms, or your committee forms. Forms for running for the board are due Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Every board position is up for election every year. So that's the president, 4 VPs, the secretary, the treasurer, and 10 regional positions. Qualifications to run, you gotta be a full-time peace officer, TMPA member for the past 4 years, in good standing and dues are paid, and for regional board positions, you must work for an agency in that region. If you have questions about running for a board position, you're welcome to come and ask me or ask any other board member. Delegate voting form, there is one form per agency attending the conference. List the name and the email of the person or persons who will be casting the votes for your agency. If only one person is casting all the votes, just list one name and an email address. If multiple people are casting votes, list the names and the email addresses and how many delegates for each of those persons voting. Use personal email addresses. Please do not use work or city email addresses or county email addresses. You can leave a number or a phone number that's on the delegate form, so that if we have a question, we can reach out to you and contact you. And then leave the delegate number on the actual form blank as well. And if you have a question about how many delegates you have, I'll be happy to provide that information to you as well. That form is due as well by Saturday morning at 10:15 a.m. On Saturday at 3 p.m., floor nominations for board positions will be accepted, and any candidate speeches will be following that at Saturday at 4:30 p.m. for any of the contested races. Sunday at 8:30 a.m., we'll have a roll call of the delegates. You must be present at the roll call to cast votes. So immediately after the roll call, emails will be sent out to those that are voting. Each voting delegate will receive one email per race they are voting in. Their ballot will be weighed for the proper number of delegates. So for instance, if Dallas County, you'll have 12 delegates, Lubbock PD has 8 delegates, Santa Fe has 3, and then Plano has 7. So I have that list, and we'll provide that if you have any questions about that. As well as on the QR codes are applications available for the bylaw and the audit committees. Feel free to come up and scan those. I'll have them posted after we adjourn here, and I'll be accepting all that information. I'll turn this back over to John Sariga. He's going to go over some housekeeping items for the weekend.
Well, before we do housekeeping, Ken actually would like to make one more recognition.
Most of y'all have known Kevin for years and years and years, and in years. In years. But some of you may not know, Kevin is past president of TMPA, and we wanted to recognize him. This is his 25th anniversary as an employee of TMPA. He's done a great job leading this organization since he stepped into that role years ago. He knows all the history of TMPA. He's been involved in it. So we want to recognize him for his 25 years here with TMPA.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, so for some housekeeping and the rest of the weekend, where do I start? Lots to talk about. So first of all, where's Tony Reich? I know everybody loves the gun raffle. Tony Reich is going to be running our gun raffle. Every year, we raise thousands of dollars for TMPA charities through our gun raffle, and you guys are hearing me talk about the gun raffle all weekend. 100% of every dollar that goes to TMPA charities goes back to our members. The reason is TMPA Charities is managed by TMPA proper, so there's no cost to charities. Every dollar in goes back to the members. You know, natural disaster, the floods, tornadoes, hurricanes. I mean, I could go on and on. You guys hear me preach this every year, but we'll raise tens of thousands of dollars for charities this weekend because of all of you. And the gun raffle is one of the ways we do that. Another way, and we'll do this tomorrow, I'm going to challenge all the POAs to make a contribution as a whole from the POA. So you guys start thinking about who's going to kick that off. Where's Pearland? Because Pearland always does a great job of kicking that off with a very nice donation. So POAs think about that. So going back to the gun raffle, this year we have 4 guns we're going to raffle. A raffle ticket is $5, or you get 5 for $20. And Tony's going to be walking around all day today, all day tomorrow, and Sunday morning selling tickets. So here's what we're raffling. We're doing 4 guns, and we'll draw them at the banquet Sunday night. We'll draw 4 tickets. First ticket drawing gets their pick, second, et cetera, et cetera. The first is going to be a Ruger 9, donated by San Angelo POA. Where's San Angelo? All right, awesome. Can we get a round of applause for San Angelo, please? All right, the next gun comes, I usually get choked up when I do this, so I'm going to try to get through this without getting choked up, but 2 of my favorite people in the world, Eddie and Connie Ruggie, every year donate a gun, and they've done so again. So Eddie and Connie, would you please stand up so we can recognize you? Thank you so much for your generosity, Eddie. All right, the next is going to be a Springfield Armory 9mm Hellcat Pro Comp with a red dot sight and 5 magazines and a range bag. And then the fourth will be a SIG P365 9mm, and I'm told Romeo 2 optic. I've been off the job for a while. I don't know what a Romeo 2 optic is, but I'm told it's a nice gun. So again, raffle tickets are $5 or 5 for $20. Tony's going to be walking around, so if you're ready to get that cash out and start buying raffle tickets, raise your hand, and Tony's going to come see you. All right, breakfast. We're always asked about breakfast options. Breakfast this year is on your own. You have 3 options for breakfast. The first is the hotel is going to be doing a taco bar in the lobby in the morning starting at 7 a.m. So it's tacos and beverages. The second is Einstein Bagels, which is in the lobby, open 24 hours, and then the restaurant opens at 6 a.m. So those are your restaurant options. T-Cole hours, you have to be present. I preach this every year. If you're not here, you're not getting your hours. We have a training agreement with T-Cole, and we can't put that in jeopardy, and every year we have people that want us to put that in jeopardy because they want to sign that roster. So where's Jay McClellan? Jay, are you here? Jay is our training coordinator, and Jay will go over the rosters in the morning, how we're doing it. But our first 4-hour block, and I promise you, you want to get up early and you don't want to miss tomorrow morning's 4-hour block, is our guest speaker is Lance LaRusso from Atlanta, Georgia. And if you don't know Lance, yeah, let's give Lance a round of applause. Yeah, I'm not going to steal Kevin's thunder. Kevin's going to give his bio in the morning, but let's just say this. The absolutely ridiculous indictments that we saw in Atlanta after George Floyd, Lance represented those officers and did just an amazing job. He's one of the best speakers I've ever heard, so you're in for a real treat. But if you're not here, you're not getting T-Cole hours. So you got to be in the room. So that's 8 a.m. We're going to start at 8 a.m. sharp. Tyler already talked about board letters. All right, so Tyler already talked about the election process. All right, a couple things. Actually, before I do that, if you are here, if this is your first TMPA conference, you're in for a real treat, but please stand so we can recognize you. First timers to TMPA conference, please stand. Welcome and thank you for being here. 2 or 3 years, I guess 3 years ago, we started doing events for your guests, and they've grown and grown and grown. So the first guest event tomorrow is Purse Bingo, which has become incredibly popular. By the way, we need male models for the purses. So if you would like to model purses on Saturday, please see Tyler Owen in the back. But that's going to be 1:15 to 3:30 in Window Box. Window Box is on the second floor. So let your guests know, Purse Bingo this year, 1:15 on Saturday in Window Box. On Sunday, we're doing Painting with a Twist. Last year was our first year with Painting with a Twist. We had 50 people. We anticipate more. I would recommend getting there early because once every seat's taken, we only have about enough supplies for 55 or 60, I think. There won't be any more seats. So Painting with a Twist, 9 a.m. in the Arboretum room, second floor on Sunday, and there will be mimosas served at both events. Tonight's entertainment is dueling pianos. I've never seen dueling pianos. I've told they're very entertaining. They're actually running a little late. We're going to open the hospitality room at 6:30, but they're probably not going to kick off till 6:45 or a few minutes later because they got held up in Houston traffic. Hospitality room is open till midnight. We're going to do 2 rounds of heavy hors d'oeuvres, so if you miss the first round, there will be a second round at 8 o'clock. That is in the Regency room on the second floor. So we're hoping we see all of you there in the Regency room, second floor, when we break from here. Thanks to all of you, we have amazing door prizes, we have amazing live auction prizes, and we have amazing silent auction prizes. Again, we will raise tens of thousands of dollars with the auctions. We finally got ourselves out of the 20th century this year. We went to a software program to manage the conference. It's called HandBid. And I'm going to have our part-time field rep, full-time officer from Lubbock PD, Andrew Skipton, come up and talk about how the bidding for the live auction and silent auction are going to work. Also, I'll let Andrew talk about where you can go see that stuff.
Thanks, Everett. Thank you so much. It's the mustache, I know. It's quite stunning. I just started working on it. It's been about 3 months. Like John said, I've been pushing for the last couple years to move the auction digitally. We got to do it this year. It's going to have some growing pains. You can yell at me. I was the one that really pushed for that. As you'll see, all the silent auction items are set up. They have a QR code next to them. If you scan that QR code with your phone, it takes you directly to that auction item. You can also search them through the app or the website, bid on them, throw us some money. We would love to have it. Live auction, you have to be present to bid on it. Silent auction, if you leave the conference or anything like that, you can continue to bid wherever you're at until it closes. It'll close Sunday night. Any questions you may have, any issues you may have with HandBid, please come find me over the next couple of days. I'll be hanging out in there with a laptop. I should be able to fix most of them, and if not, you can blame me, and that's all right. Thank you all for your support. Thanks for all the donations. I think we've already raised almost $5,000 on the silent auction, and it opened a few hours ago. So you guys are doing awesome, and we really appreciate that. Thank you all very much.
A group I did want to acknowledge, a couple years ago, we did not do coffee, and we never heard the end of it. And the reason we didn't do coffee is hotels charge us literally $120 a gallon for coffee. So 2 years ago, we didn't do coffee. We listened to our members last year. I think it was Missouri City correct me if I'm wrong, stepped up and sponsored the coffee. This year it was again Galveston County agencies, POAs got together and sponsored coffee. We are going to put the coffee in the vendor room tomorrow to encourage you guys to go visit our vendors because they support us. So with that, I believe that's it for the announcements. I'm probably missing something. Can my guys in the back, am I missing anything on the announcements? Golf cart. We are auctioning a golf cart. It is down in the lobby. Raffle tickets are $50 a piece. That money is going to benefit the Memorial Monument in Austin for the repairs. It needs what, Kevin? What do we have to spend to get that thing repaired or upgraded? Thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. It's deteriorating. The weather's deteriorating it. We're putting panels on the back because sadly the front's full. So that's what the golf cart fundraiser is going to is to repair and upgrade the monument. So please go check out the golf cart. It's a pretty cool golf cart, $50 a ticket. Anything else, guys, my guys?
Everybody, if you will, help me sing happy birthday to John Sariga. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, John Sariga. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to my 40s. All right, let's all head to the second floor and let's have a party. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, sir. Tyler started doing that years ago. It's gotten so.
John will still have it tomorrow morning.